grade 8, this is Mrs. Fell. I'm going to be going through selected examples with you from exercise 9.14 in your textbook, and it revises exponents when we're squaring or cubing algebraic expressions. So you can do this in your books with me as examples, and then I'm going to leave you to do the rest of the exercise on your own, and then you'll see that a fully worked memo will be uploaded so that you can mark yourself from there. Okay, so let's jump in. This year, your instruction has been simplified by expanding. And you'll see from the other exponent videos that you've watched on YouTube that we expand everything in order to get our final answer. So it's not quite like what you're seeing in the textbook, so just be careful of that. So the first one we're going to tackle says x squared in brackets to the power of 3. All right, so if we are going to expand that, this is what it means. It means x squared times another x squared times another x squared. Okay, now I'm going to expand each of these because I know that this means 2 little x's there, 2 there, and 2 there. So what we actually have is this. And then what I do, I can see I don't have enough space here, so I'm just going to write across. Then I count up all my x's, and I can see that I have 6 of them all together, and so my answer is going to be x to the power of 6. All right, then we're going to move to question E. So question E says negative 3a cubed in brackets with a squared on the outside. So squared means times by itself, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is write the bracket out twice. Right, now we need to expand these a's. So I can see that I've got a negative 3, and then I've got a times a times a, and then I should have that all over again. So negative 3a times a times a. Okay, now these coefficients, the negative 3's, the numbers in front of your variables, I can multiply those because brackets mean multiply. So negative times a negative is a positive. You don't have to write it there, but I'm going to. 3 times 3 gives me 9. And then I count up my x's, my a's. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So my answer is a to the power of 6. Okay, everybody happy with that? All right, let's move on to question H. So now I've got quite a bit going on in that bracket, and it's to the power of 3. So that means that I'm going to have to start by writing my bracket out 3 times. So 2a squared b cubed, that's my first one. 2a squared b cubed. And last time. Okay, now we've got to go and expand these variables. So we're going to have 2a times a, and then I've got 3 little b's to write down. Okay, and again, 2a times a, b times b times b. Last one, 2a times a, b times b times b. And all this expanding is just teaching your brain exactly what these exponents actually mean, okay? So we are going to multiply this. I'm going to do it in one go. You can do 2 brackets at a time if you feel more comfortable, but this doesn't look too bad to me. So we're going to say 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 gives me 8. Then I'm going to count up my a's because I'm going to work a's together, b's together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a, so I've got a to the power of 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, b to the power of 9, and that will be my final answer there. All right, let's move on. Okay, we're going to continue here with question J. So write the question J down. You can see that there's a negative in front, which is a little bit different now. Now we need to realize that this squared behind the bracket only belongs to what's happening inside that bracket. It doesn't have anything to do with the negative. So when I start my first step, I write my negative down, and then I'm going to write my bracket 2 times because of my squared behind. Alright, so I keep my negative there while I'm working with my brackets. So I'm now going to expand what's inside my brackets. So I've got 2 and 5 of these. Okay, and another bracket, 2A. Okay, I hope those are correct. Alright, let's keep the negative going. And then what are we going to do? We're going to multiply the coefficients. So it's going to be 2 times 2 gives me 4. And I am multiplying, so I'm actually getting rid of my brackets now. And let's count up the A's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 A's, so it's A to the power of 10. And there's your answer there. All right, question N is the last example we're going to do together before you go ahead and work on your own. So what does this mean? It means that we need to write the negative 3b 3 times because it's cubed. And then carrying on from there, because it's a new set of brackets, I'm just going to put a times in, but you don't have to. So I'm going to say negative 2a, and I also need that to be written 3 times. Okay, let's go back to the beginning here. I have got a negative times a negative times a negative, which is going to give me a negative answer. Then I've got 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. And if you're nervous about that, those coefficients, you can use your calculator to help you with that. Okay. Then count up our b's. We've got 1, 2, 3 b's. So b to the power of 3. Now I've still got to times this by my next answer at the back there. Some of you may prefer to keep this in brackets, okay, which you can. Okay, and again, we've got the 3 negatives. Negative times a negative is a positive. Positive times a negative is a negative. And then 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And how many a's do I have altogether? A to the power of 3. Okay, now this final one, I'm pretty sure most of us would put this into our calculator. The negative times a negative will give us a positive, which you don't have to write. 27 times 8, you'll see on your calculator, gives you 216. And then I've got A's which are already simplified. I've got B's which are simplified. But the correct way to write it in algebra is in alphabetical order. So I'm going to put A cubed in front and just glue the B cubed on the back. And that is your final answer there. Okay, I hope those examples help. Now go ahead and do the rest, and then you can mark yourself using the memo.